where we come take invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's items only, the investment we're going to talk today will be ETH. This is my second posting as of today. Respect to recording time of 8:18 p.m. on Eastern Time. Ethereum currently trading $4,518, down about 0.09% so far. On the overall crypto market, besides Solana, it seems like the bullish momentum is still sustaining, currently up about 6.25%. While on the other coins, with respect to the key coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively, we have seen a slight surge earlier today, right? Retesting and rebounding from the core resistance levels of Bitcoin for 60,000, which we bounced off from the $60,425 earlier today, and Ethereum at the $4,250, right? And the reversal or the slight surge is coming from a Twitter post, right? That I would call the core media affectation on driving the surge today. And also another one is coming from the New York upcoming mayor, Eric Adams. He vows to take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin going forward. So with respect to the first news on Elon Musk, he's basically posted a Twitter post about 6 hours ago today, and it received over 1 million votes. With 21 hours still to go for this vote. It's a kind of a polling system. And with respect to the 54.2% of the participants voted yes on Elon Musk proposed to sell his stock, and the rest opposed the proposal. So it seems like it's kind of a battle between the bear and the bulls of the Tesla stocks, if you may, or some other pseudo affectation with respect to there's some speculations around that Bitcoin might just sell the 10% of the holding of the Tesla stock and shift that all into Bitcoin. And that could technically make some drastic momentum shift for Bitcoin, despite it being bearish at the moment, right? And the reason for doing this, to sell is not necessarily because the business fundamentals change, nor is it because on a technical front, the stock is surging relatively, healthy. Let's just put it that way in the recent time frame. But it's basically a potential protection for himself financially, right? There's a new tax requirement on unrealized gains that is, again, potentially being implemented in the US. So we're still going to get taxed regardless, so might as well just sell it at the opportune time. And on a technical front, we know that Tesla stock is running and going to Mars, like literally. I think the stock got to Mars first before we actually get there. And with respect to the 1 million votes, definitely stir a lot of forums and people talking about it, and definitely stir a lot of media, affectation onto driving some buying pressure onto Bitcoin, because a lot of speculators are thinking that it makes sense that he might be just using this dollar to pump it into a more of a commoditized type of entity, right? And he's been a very relatively bullish, how would you say, representations for Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin, obviously. So it's again a speculations, nothing confirmatory yet. So that's the first news, and the other news is really coming from the New York Mayor Eric Adams, right? He just recently won the election, right? So congrats to Eric Adams, and he's basically publicly announced that the first 3 paychecks he's going to be accepting in Bitcoin. So obviously he's bullish on it, and he's also a public figure with good reputation, right? He used to be the chief of police, and now he's the New York City mayor. So obviously will have some market influence into it, despite it's only in the New York State, right? And that's pretty much on the news front. So right now with the $4,518, and apologies for posting a little later than usual. I just came home, had a relatively long day. I spent a good day with my good friends from CNBC. So I made a lot of good friends that are journalists. I never really have a lot of reporters friends, nor people that are in the journalism type of field, right? I've worked in a magazine company in the past, but nothing, it's just so interesting to learn about their day to day and what do they do, And I realize that it's quite intense what they do, and they're really passionate. So I'm really happy to have met them. They are really good friends. I've learned a lot from them. And then I spent some time with my family on Fifth Avenue when we went to Bryant Park. There's like this winter type of flea market that's going on right now. My sister went shopping in Zara today. I didn't really buy anything. We also got like some Japanese food. Went to this place called No No No, which is like right by Koreatown. Really good Japanese food. I would say it's my third time going there, but every time we try something different, so it's relatively good. And then yeah, did a little shopping again, and then we went back to by my house. We got a little Greek food. There's this place called Kokladis Tavern. Really good seafood, and despite getting seafood, I got chicken kebabs, like the souvlaki, which was delicious. I actually ate the whole thing, even though it was like a serving for 3 people. So I'm like really stuffed, but like I think I needed it because I didn't really eat that much today. So anyways, so I think I'm wearing off tangent, so apologies. So with respect to the current level with the $4,515, that about 0.17% so far. On the scale of RSI with 64 out of 70 right now, we are slowly fusing the death cross coming as we are slowly doing so, right? And as we form that confirmatory death cross, what we're going to be going down to will be coming down to ideally, the first level, the 4,425, but the 4,250 will be the core level. If we break that, we're going to go all the way to the 4,000 first, just to hover around it, which you have seen many times here. And then if we break that, we can go to 3,843, right? Technically, we could completely erase this whole thing if there's some well-known manipulations or some hype news that's going to be happening on a consecutive fashion, right? Also with the drag effects from Bitcoin, right? So right now, it's about what's the right risk management level for you to incur risk at, right? For me, I don't think it's the most opportune time. So that's why I'm not saying I'm bullish or bearish. I'm just saying the risk level is not the most favorable, right? I currently have a lot of Ethereum. I am incentivized to want to see this go up, but I just don't see it logically to be incurring more of my risk exposure into Ethereum at the moment at the current price level yet, right? Nor am I incentivized to want to sell now either, because I believe in the long-term value proposition, and I do not want to just sell and incur tax, obviously, for this short-term capital gains tax, nor so I want to just like hold it for long term until Ethereum to hit at least 25,000 going forward, which I believe there's a huge probability that will go to, right? So with respect to Bitcoin right now, we're sustaining. I'm still bearish, despite the positive news that we've seen today. We opened relatively lower, right? The $60,000 and $400. So we surge up by like $1,000, but that's pretty much it. And the perfect world would be just like keep consolidate on a sideways fashion, deplete RSI all the way down, and then as we do so, we form this downward wedge, and as we form that downward wedge, we'll incentivize a surge coming, and that should keep us to sustain the rally going forward. So Bitcoin, I hope that's what's going to be happening, and I hope Elon is going to probably sell maybe 10% of his stocks in Tesla, and then ship all of it into Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively, because that would technically completely change the momentum and the course of nature of the chart, despite how much outliers we've been forming so far, right? And that will also apply to Dogecoin as well, because he does have exposure in Dogecoin as well. And Dogecoin currently is selling down because of the death cross that we've formed officially. And ideally, we should want to buy at somewhere around like the 23 all the way to the 20 cents level. Cardano is a good setup right now, as I said, right? It's still percolating, and we're waiting for the confirmatory signal for us to surge up from here. We're still at the relatively okay level, the 43 out of 70. So not the best, not the worst, but it's okay. I would say it's tolerable in terms of risk management level. Solana right now, it's just doing some crazy banana stuff right now, surging all the way because of public investors. Sustaining to be close to about all-time high, the $260. But we know that we're still overbought. We are stretched up completely. We're waiting for a signal for us to reverse down. I think we have tried many times to get up there, but we have been leaping up for a while now. So risk versus reward ratio is not the most favorable. So I'll wait until it cools back down, ideally coming back down to first level 176. But for me, I think 133 to like 113 would be more logical for me to even feel incentivized to incur risk, because we ultimately want to make a profit, right? A good sizable profit at least, right? And XRP right now is basically hovering. We could not get to the 130, so we had to settle for 120. We broke 120, we have to settle for less. So right now we're just basically heading to 110. And I think as we deplete even more, form a death cross, I think going back to 110 and breaking to 101 wouldn't be surprising to me. Polkadot down on 1.72% right now, and I think we have a mega red death cross that's going to be formed, breaching this gap, basically coming back to the 42. I would ideally just incur risk at 33 all the way to 25 from here. Algorand's down about 1% right now. We are forming a death cross slowly. So ideally, as we sell down, right, we're going to come back to 160 to 155. Shiba Inu right now is still selling off, right, because the surge was mainly coming from public investors. We're still in the bearish momentum, so we're going to sell back down all the way again, right? We're going to test again the 4743 from the level we're at right now. And ideally coming back to the more of a normalized level to the 2825, or maybe if we break that to the 900 from here, right? So with respect to risk management level, these are the dollar cost average levels that ideally we want to be looking at as the RSI depletes back to more of a conservative level, right? That's when the panic mode begins for, I guess, investors are on the news front that screams like sell, sell, sell. That's when you should be buy, actually. It's not the most intuitive in terms of the way you think about it, but the risk level and the technicals never really lies, right? And I'm not making a prediction that we're going to be selling off. I'm just saying that these are the risk management level for you to ideally and logically incur risk, right? So hopefully this is helpful. It's a Saturday night now. I am actually really tired. It's 8:30 right now. I've been talking nonstop and working nonstop today. Despite it's a weekend, I should be technically taking some time off, right? But really appreciate you for joining me and being such a studious investor and listener. And stay tuned for some up. Take care.